Hello, good evening, one and all, you filthy bunch of peoples. Welcome to the return. It's been a long old summer, hasn't it? You're all gagging for it. I know you have been. It's GPVWC's International Touring Car Championship, and we're here at the Autodrome Most, or Most, if you're coming from England. My name's Simon Smith, as ever, dragging you kicking and screaming for another Monday evening of high-octane pixelated filth and action. For 3 rounds of 11 laps of this fine circuit, which has provided plenty of challenges, plenty of insult and injury, and salt for your wounds. Yes, lots of mistakes, lots of fun. Good qualifying session. We'll run through the grid as we go through onto the formation lap itself. As ever, though, I'm not doing this alone. Our cameraman extraordinaire this evening, to add more talents to his harp that was a bow but is now a harp, it is Dave Carr-Smith. He'll be overseeing proceedings along with the watchful eyes of Ryan Gilmore, who will be poking his little nostrils in, I'm sure, wherever he can find them. In the championship itself, just coming back to refresh one's memory, Ruud Heesterbeek leads the way with 254 points from Augustin Canapino on 241, just one clear of Toby Davis. Despite, I thought he had more DNFs than that, but clearly not. Canapino has a fair few, though. Adrian Holm is 4th ahead of Eric Strane, then Jesper Thorberg, Sven de Vries, Lewis Redshaw, Martin Palmer, Chris Hack rounds out your top 10 on that. An amazing 40 drivers have not scored at all because the standings are a bit wonky, but actually it's more about 37. Then in the constructors, Vodball lead the way by 30 points ahead of THR that moved into 2nd place, ahead of Aurora Motorsports, CSG, Missouric, Enterprise GP, YTF1 is 7th, just 1 point ahead of Torrent Motorsports, Araya Stream a further 7 behind them, then a ginormous gap back to Bastvik in 10th, who leads the charge all the way down, and 21 teams have scored in that, despite there only being room for 20, because obviously we had a switcheroo for one of the teams that dropped out earlier on in the season, allowing for a new one to join. Always got plenty of blood and talent going here at GPVWC, and if you like what you see, don't forget to sign yourselves up over at gpvwc.com. Now, we do like a little bit of social shenanigans, and as ever, hashtag GPVWC, send out your disgusting comments. Tonight, to see me through the evening, I have dark fruits cider and some vice versa chocolate. Clearly a combo that needs to happen. Not together though. I would not recommend that. It's been lovely. Be back behind the booth. This is my favourite series. Don't let Super League know. Shh. They'll all want to join. But this circuit, as you'll see on the formation lap, if you've not been to the Autodrome Most before, quite different to a lot of the circuits that we've had earlier on in the season. This is a proper actual circuit. No barriers flying around everywhere too close. But there's been plenty of action on the curbs that spits people off, and a lot of attention to cutting as well, just to make sure that everyone falls within the white lines with all 4 of their wheels. I want to be an admin after this one. LOL. So, grid time.
Attention grid, will all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
So, as always, 3 races. We'll go through the grid on the opening lap. Apologies if I choke a little bit. Not because I've got penis anywhere near me. It's literally because I've got a little bit of cough going on. Thought I'd make that clear. Often a confusion, especially if you see me around a fish and chip shop. Saveloy's at the ready. Race number 1 is starting at 10 AM. Ooh. And for those of you that like the stats, auto clutch is allowed and damage is set at 75%. Here we are on the formation lap, with Eric Strane leading the way again for THR. Really becoming a good one-lap specialist here in the ITC. Alongside him, and I think this is an all-time high for Chris Hack, 2nd in a Missouric. Normally does well in the reverse grids, but clearly deciding that he wants to peak early. Then Toby Davis is 3rd for the 2nd of the THRs, ahead of Lewis Redshaw, 4th for CSG. This turn 1 will cause him, I think, a few dive bombs or 2 on lap 1. Welcome to Jonas Raivio for Enterprise GP, a new driver. I wonder if He's rated to a Jonas brother. 5th place ahead of Bart de Vos, 6th for Triple 20. Ben Hackerson, that's a great 7th for him in the YTF1. Matt Richards will be 8th for Araya Stream. Ilja Bracalo 9th for Triple 20, desperate for some luck after a real topsy-turvy first half of the season. And Jesper Tallberg, again another person in for luck, 10th for Aurora. Then 11th for Walters Automotive is James Clark, ahead of Tobias Olsen for YTF1 in 12. Nick Rowland is 13th in the second CSG, ahead of Cameron Brewster, 14th for Placeit. Sven de Vries 15th for Aurora, 16th is Augustin Canapino, way down. But ahead of, well actually, Heasterbeek's not even hit. Oh no, he is behind actually in 18th position. And they're in a Reinu Muru sandwich. TTF's Reinu Muru making his return to ITC this year. Mikhail Tumala is 19th for Enterprise. Fascinated to see how those oddballs go. Then the 2 Six Factors races, 20th in 21st for Matthew Williams and Tom Jacobs. Jimmy Hughes makes his debut for Mad Cap Racing. That is the new team. Or Mad Cape Racing. Should be Mad Cap. Get rid of the E. Cosmos Matthew Addington, 23rd. I think he'll be pleased with that as well. Scott Savic, 24th for Bastvik, ahead of Mike Bell, 25th for Araya Stream. Then Gary Lennon, Missouric Racing, spun on his formation lap on the qualifying session, quite comically, whilst warming his tyres, 26th. Philip Morby, 27th for Placey. Martin Palm, 28th for Torrent. That's way down for him. It's been a real topsy-turvy season for him as well. Not quite showing the same form as what we're used to. Mad Cape's Luke Herring makes his debut in 29th place, ahead of Chris Williamson, 30th for Nijo. That's good for him. Asa Clint for Optimum is 31st, ahead of Florian Engel, 32nd. Quintin Plain for TTF is in 33rd, ahead of Thomas Hines, or Hins, for Cosmo, 34th. I think that's the first or second. No, he has been in ITC before. David Junt for Scuderia Basilia, down in 35th, ahead of Joshua Anderson, 36th for Optimum. 37th is Jordan Weeks, and he is the last man on the grid. Your penalty weight goes to Heasterbeek, 45 kilos, Canapino, 36, Toby Davis, 27, and Strane with 9. They're just lining themselves up onto the grid now. Place your bets. Not like Matthew Kelly on You've Been Framed. We can't all catch a kitty. 3, 2, 1, and the lights will be off and away. Welcome to Moss. We're off and away, and Estrade gets perfectly away there from Hack. Davis covers the line for Redshaw, but he's got to watch out for Reveo going down the outside. This could all get messy down into turn 1 as Hack squeezes out Davis. Redshaw's there too. Rivo's braking on the grass and he's going to go round the outside to take third potentially. There's a smack from Hackerson behind. He manages to get round the corner. Muru's a little bit wide out there too, but amazingly everyone round the first part of the corner. Some people running out onto the gravel for the second half, notably Scott Sovic there was a little bit beach happy as Hinds drops to the back, but it is Strane leading the way then from Hack, Davis, Redshaw, Rivio, Richards up to 6th from ahead of DeVos, Bracalo, Tallberg and Hackerson, the big loser. They're down to 10th and may lose out further if the pack continues to shuffle. For our championship leaders though, they're 16th and 17th, Canapino and Easterbeek battling with Brewster for 15th, so not great progress from the pair of them. Really out of position on the grid, and they're not making plain or progress very early on as they come flying around some of these challenging corners here on the Autodrom Moss circuit here in the Czech Republic. And there's a big spin further back. Someone's really binned that one. It looked like an Optimum to me. Oh no, it was an Enterprise, sorry. It was Mikhail Tumala, and that's a real shame because he was right high up the grid. Not anymore. Rejoins in last, 37th position. Hack continues to follow Strade though, and they're dropping Davis ever so slightly. That's a surprise. As Strade heavy on the brakes. Hack, I wonder if he's thinking I might have a go down into turn 1 as Bracalo and Tallberg for 8th and 9th go side by side into the second to last and final corner. Bracalo takes that 8th position back from Tallberg, who was trying to yoink it earlier on. So the 23rd and 22nd go side by side, but up the front, lap 1 of 11 completed. Strane leads then from Hack. He goes defensive, does the THR driver. We're normally seeing Adrian Holm in there, but this is Strane making the move across from one team to another. It's been a real shock to see Holm not here today. Rovio there gets it all wrong in 5th position, and Matt Richards for Araya Motorsports quite fancies that 5th position. Been showing some great promises, Matt Richards, and this could be a great little one because he's got the inside line for that weird little kink, then a turn to the right. Oh, contact between the two. Rivio tries to keep on the inside line, hops over the curbs. Can he keep it all straight up? Yes, he can, just about. Richards keeps in 5th position. Rivio lucky to be keeping in facing the right direction. The 2 triple 20s are behind. Then it's the YTF1 of Hackerson. Then the Auroras of Sven de Vries and Tallberg. Kirk down to 12th. Olsen 13th. Roland down to 14th as Olsen takes Kirk for 12th position. The Vodballs are still 15 and 16. They've disposed of who was that? That was Brewster. He's dropped down to 20th actually. It's a poor second lap for the Bowser himself as Strane, Hack and Davis continue to fan out. It's really all going on further down at the lower end of the points with Bracalo in 8th, then Hackerson, de Vries, Tolberg, Olsen, Kirk and Co. They're all filtering through right the way down to Jimmy Hughes in 18th position, desperate to make points for the Mad Cape Racing team. They would love some more points to add to their table. All 37 still going, Engel and Williamson battling over the wooden spoon quite happily and merrily. But Bart de Vos has a go to defend from Rivio again. Rivio desperate to keep on to 6th position, but de Vos yoinks it and takes that triple 20 up to 6th. And Ilja Bracalo there right lined up. Junus may want to get rid of that acoustic guitar and retake that 7th place. Oh, look at the YTF1 Hackerson! Oh, he gets bumped from behind by Sven de Vries. 8th, 9th, 10th, and well, there was all. Oh, they're not quite all coming out of that, right? Are they, Bracalo? That's the wrong way. Push him! Oh no, Easterbeek! Easterbeek's off. This is problems for the championship leader. Oh no, Rude. Can he get back going again? That gravel has been used for more than skinny dipping here this afternoon. How's he doing? 32nd, 33rd. Look at that hint. Joshua Anderson overtakes the championship leader. We'll never say that one again, as in fact he's letting everyone through. But is Easterbeek able to get back out, or is he beached? That is a real shame for the championship leader. And oh my goodness me, has the Jonas brother himself just came in and ruined a little bit of the championship momentum for Ruud Easterbeek. We'll see if he gets out of there again. He's not moved. Oh, he is moving now. I think he was just calming himself down, but he is back going again. Don't know if it's worthwhile. I suppose if you keep going and then some more people drop out, as they do, as Tallberg and Olsen go toe-to-toe for 8th and 9th for Aurora and YTF1. More people that retire, the higher up the grid you get for race 2 to try and make something for a reverse grid in race 3 and try and limit the damage. And damage limitation will now be the name of the game. It was kind of for Vodball anyway. We'll go with Gaston Canapino now in the points in 13th, and he can see all the way up to 8th position right in front of him. But there's only 2 seconds. You could throw a very large blanket, but it would be a blanket nonetheless, maybe a duvet, from all the way from Hackerson in 7th down to Canapino in 13th. And Tallberg's having a go at Hackerson for 7th and 8th position, thinks better of it, and then gets rear-ended by the other YTF1. Maybe they should call it WTF1, by the way how they're bouncing everyone around in and out of turn 1. The tight little chicane itself, and Nick Rowland's got trouble because he's got Sven de Vries, Canapino, and look at James Kirk. There's a magnet for trouble if ever you've played with science objects, and the Canapino does get through up into 12th place. Kirky just looking forward to, I think, a trouble-free run, yoinking some points on the board, which are much well deserved. Behind, it's kicking off as well. Gary Lennon's just got round Mike Bell for 18th and 19th places. Matthew Annington for Cosmo, desperate for points in 20th ahead of Morby and Murray. Then it falls back to Palm, who's already dropped off the back of that. Up front though, Strane still leads from Chris Hack, and he's not pulling away, is Strane. Hack is very much on the attack behind him for the Mazurek Racing team, and his teammate slightly further down the field. But I think Mazurek can take real promise from this one, as long as it can stay on the track. Chris actually probably really looking quite threatening for the first time. Right into the slipstream of Eric. Got to choose your braking and your overtaking opportunities wisely around this Moss circuit. There are some places you can do it, but it requires commitment and concentration, and also a little bit of pliability, as Easterbeek there just going a lap down. He's in the pits. As Hack gets sucked up onto the rear end of Strane, a little sniff around the rear, but doesn't decide to take a plunge in to turn 1. Davis there, a completely different racing line, nearly collects Hack from my camera view on the outside. I'm sure it wasn't that bad. Redshaw then in fourth, all by myself. Ahead of Matt Richards, then Bart de Vos, Hackerson 7, Tulberg 8, Olsen 9. De Vries takes 10th place, back from Nick Rowland, and Roly Poly quite fancies a go down for a top 10 place. Not often we see Nick Rowland in an ITC car. I'm sure he'll be enjoying the fact that he's out there doing a little bit of wheel bashing. It's again behind a teammate though, which I don't think he'll be massively pleased with. Canapino though, right on his rear, 12th place, everyone's favourite Sucky Sweet. Then it's James Kirk ahead of Matthew Williams. Jimmy Hughes into the points then for Mad Cape, ahead of Tom Jacobs, and it looks as though we have Chris Hack having a go at Strani for the lead. What can he do? Bouncy bounce over the curb. Strani looking a little bit more ragged, taking up much more of the track. Chris looks like he's the one that's more under control, and this is definitely one of the braking phases where you can go out and have a little lunge potentially. It's like one faster corner that then goes into a slower one. Hack deciding not to. He's got to be careful because Toby Davis is shadowing them, and maybe he's a wily old fox. As I said, fox, and here comes Chris having a bit of a peak, but that to me was a bit too early. He could have stayed in that slipstream a wee bit longer. Maybe had a bit more of a committed stab down into turn one. He's got to be careful because Davis is rampant under the brakes there. Thank you for Andreas Walters. Impressed with the moving camera effect. It looks great. So well done, cameraman extraordinaire. Someone's loving your pixelated action. Still Strane, Hack and Davis, and that time Hack was the one locking under brakes through that chicane. A lot of people clipping the inside of that and being shot off wide. Curves can be quite aggressive around this circuit. Redshaw now starting to close in too, just 2.3 back. Behind we've got Matt Richards on his own. De Vos, Hackerson and Tulberg in their own little scrap. They've cleared Olsen. De Vries has still got Roland and Canapino right behind. Then it's Kirk, Williams, Hughes, Jacobs, Brewster and Lennon, with Bell just onto the back of that. Then a gap back to the Morby, Palm, Allington and Muru battle for 20th through to 23rd, with Rivio from what was such a great start now down in 24th. Then it's Bracalo, Tumala, Asaclint, Junt all over his rear, Jordan Weeks in 29th, Plain is in 30th ahead of Engel, Hinds, Chris Williamson's off the track and is about to be overtaken by Luke Herring for 33rd. I'm sure he might send him a dummy herring. Then it's Sovic, Anderson and Heasterbeek has got going again, albeit one lap down and about to be lapped by Engel in 30th place as Hack once again onto the back of Strane. Is he going to stay longer in the slipstream this time and have a go compliantly down into turn one and confidently too? Getting a sniff, but is he topping out? It's like the straight isn't quite long enough. Oh, Chris would love to get out the track editor and have a go as Tavis does that. Takes a completely different line. He's very tight into the second part of that chicane. And you could almost see it being like a warning coming from our Torby. Redshaw still there, but he's not really closing in now as Davis really clouts the curb in third position. Further back, all is still the same for positions all the way down to 18th place, which is where all the effectively 18 people battling for the points paying positions at the current time. We're on lap 7 of 11. One dive into a diner. Oh, there's a sausage place somewhere around here. It is the Czech Republic. Oh, as Matt Richards gets it all wrong in 5th position. He throws it off the track. Keeps it going though, and he'll stay in 5th for the time being. He's got a nice little gap over De Vries and Hackerson and Tulberg. And now, really for the first time, Chris Hack's got to think of what's going on with Toby Davis behind, because they're equidistant in their gaps, nearly. So one will help the other on the old slipstreaming. And Hack's slight lock up on exit from this penultimate corner of this lap could well prove an issue. Across the line they go then, lap 7 completed. Lap 8 it begins. The top 3 under a second. Chris again not looking like he's going to have a go at Strane. Davis, remember, 27 kilograms of penalty weight. Wow, that would be great penalty weight if I could add that. It'd just be like having a poo. Oh, Hackerson with Bart de Vos, 6th and 7th side by side. Ben Hackerson, a real good effort there, but it didn't quite work out. De Vos has traversed all of the moves and kept himself into 6th with that triple 20 car. Hackerson still looking good on the exit. Will he be able to shadow it down to turn 4 and 5? No. De Vos has that one covered. Ooh, contact! And Tulberg gets it right in there too. And these YTF1 cars do like a little bit of bump and grind this evening. Not really worked for their massive advantage, or disadvantage, to be fair. Did get rid of Ravio, didn't it? Through they go. That corner always reminds me of the Nürburgring. 3rd sector. As up front, still Strane and Hack shadow each other. No changes there. Ben de Vries onto the back of Tobias Olsen, sorry, for 9th and 10th. Roland in 11th, and they've dropped Canapino. As up front, here comes Chris Hack having another go down the outside then for Strane. Is he going to do the switcheroo and try and get down the inside for the final corner? Yes, he is. He's rode the curb, and that may give him good traction off the exit. This is the most aggressive we've seen Chris Hack all race as lap 8 completes, lap 9 begins. He's so close to the rear bumper of Strane. Will he be able to go out and have a real dive through? It's going to have to be a dive bomb if he goes for it, but no, he backs out, and that's going to leave him slightly wrong-footed, I think, for the second half. He bounces over the green inside curb. Probably the only way how he can get away with all of that. Davis unable to capitalise on any jiggery-pokery that's been going on for the lead. But that's the first warning shot there from Chris, as if to say, don't forget me, I'm there. There's been a massive lock-up further back through the field. I couldn't quite work out who that was. As Jimmy Hughes retakes 15th position from Tom Jacobs. Brewster takes Lennon again from 17th and 18th. And there was a change. Defender Vries got round Tobias Olsen for 9th and 10th. So, all to play for the lower end of the points. Up front though, very much stalemate. And amazingly, Scott Sovic into the pits. He's been off. He's lost a lot of aerodynamic parts. He was in 36th, already down to 37th. Every single car still running in this race. I think that would be a record if we get everyone home. It would be great to see it. 2 laps to do it then, as Nick Rowland gets round Tobias Olsen for 10th place. Nicely done, and Bart de Vos is run off wide. Through goes Hackerson into 6th. Tulberg goes into 7th. Bart de Vos loses 2 places in 1 mistake. Down to 8th for the triple 20 driver, who's doing so well. But that's not worked out well for him now at all. Can he salvage something, because Bracalo's already out of the points? Onto the final straight then. Back onto the grass. This again looking tighter. He just... Oh, Strane feeling the need to go defensive for the first time really. He moves off the racing line. Hack then goes down the outside. Davis! Oh my goodness me! Can Hack hold it? Yes he can! Beautifully done! Davis, I'm not quite sure what that was. It's been coming for a while. He has a different line into turn 1. And I wonder if he just overcooked it and went... Woo! That reminds me of Liuzzi. We need to get a replay of that and just go, no, 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 no! As he goes flying down into turn 1. But that has helped Strane no end. And Davis under attack for Redshaw for 3rd and 4th place. Lewis Redshaw, who's been a silent man all of race 1, suddenly now can sniff a podium. And he would quite like to yoink it away from the THR driver. Of course, Redshaw, relatively high up in the championship standings, may not be battling for the overall championship, but he quite fancies getting his little nozzle in there as well. As Davis smacks the outside curb. Redshaw does very much the same. Difficult to know whether you should hit that outside curb or not. For me, I'd think it would unsettle the car, but maybe it gives you enough momentum. Interesting racing lines from all. As Augustine Canapino loses places, James Kirk takes him for 12th place. Remember, that's for championship positions. He needs to have really capitalised on the fact that Heasterbeek is not going to score, and Canapino really hasn't done so. As Eric Strane crosses onto the start-finish straight, over the line he'll go to start his final lap on race 1. As there's more changes of position, 7th and 8th side by side. Ben Hackerson, 6th and 7th, having to defend from Jesper Tulberg, who runs all 4 wheels off the track, but he was pushed way out wide, and he says, I'm coming round anyway. Fantastic run there from Jesper Tulberg in the Aurora car. Redshaw and Davis side by side for 3rd and 4th. Oh dear, and that's not gone well. Redshaw drops back from there. Oh, Hackerson in 6th and 7th, and Tulberg and De Vries is there too, trying to get past De Vos. Oh, all of the D's. But De Vries gets round to Vos for 8th and 9th place. Hackerson, can he hold off from Jesper Tulberg? I was waiting for a wee bit of a dive-bomby move, and it looks like Ben Hackerson delivered. Matt Richards well clear enough for that to keep in 5th place as long as he keeps it on the track. And Canapino can't do anything about Kirk. So it is all to play for. Jimmy Hughes keeping Brewster behind for the final points paying position 2. Pastrana has got just over 0.6 of a second then, clear from Chris Hack. Toby Davis still struggling to keep Redshaw behind him as Nick Rowland and De Vos go side to side for 9th and 10th positions, and Rowland goes through on the fast kick. Can he keep it? He's got 2 wheels off on the gravel. De Vos will get back through on momentum, but that was a ballsy effort there by Mr. Rowland himself. Further up the field, Hackerson's gone off the track in 6th, and that's allowed Tulberg through into 7th. He's leaning on him. The Aurora car's getting real stuck in with the YTF1, and that will be an interesting challenge as they come towards the final corners. However, Eric Strane is coming around the final one, and for his first race for THR, replacing Adrian Holm, who's not here today, Eric Strane does a fine effort to take the first win of race 1 here at the Autodrome Most Circuit. Chris Hack, a stunning 2nd for Zurich. That puts him on the map. Toby Davis, a great 3rd for THR. Lewis Redshaw, 4th Silent Assassin for CSG. Matt Richards, I think, will be delighted with 5th for Araya. Then Hackerson does keep Sven De Vries behind him for 6th and 7th. Tulberg, the one that loses out, down to 8. De Vos 9. Nick Rowland grabs the top 10. James Kirk got to 11th, passing Tobias Olsen in the final couple of corners. Then Augustin Canapino 13th. That's not the points gain he wanted on Heasterbeek. Matthew Williams 14th for the 6th Axis Racing. He'll be delighted with points. Jimmy Hughes grabs points for Mad Cape Racing in 15. Ahead of Gary Lennon, who got round Cameron Brewster at the last second. Just 2 tenths separating those as they crossed the line, Tom Jacobs 18th ahead of Martin Palm 19. Junius Ravio, after all that, ends up in 20th for Enterprise. Mike Bell then beats home Ilja Bracalo, again unlucky, ahead of Reino Muru. Philip Morby 24th. Jordan Weeks rose to 25th in the Torrent. Matthew Allington down to 26th for the Cosmo. Tumala 27th, another disappointment for him in the Enterprise. Jonathan Asseklemp 28th, nice clean run for him. David Junt 29 ahead of Florian Engel rounding out 30th. Luke Herring was 31st in the 2nd Mad Cape ahead of Thomas Hinz 32nd. Chris Williamson crumbs home 33rd, beating home by quite a way Joshua Anderson, but he's going to beat home Quintin Plain, who stays the last of the unlapped drivers in 35th. With 1 lap down, Ruud Heasterbeek and Scott Sovic, all drivers that started finished. And that is a season first, if not an ITC first. So, whoop, 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 whoop. Well done to you guys. So, that was a lovely bit of squirrel. Through they come into the pit lane. Eric, I think that is exactly what THR wanted. They're thinking constructors. The THR embroiled in a great battle with the Vodball team for that. Vodball leading them by 28 points. Just got to think. But with that poor showing there from Vodball,
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
in the favour rather, of THR. So delicate is the balance for ITC. If you have a team that just has a terrible round, all of a sudden you're like, oh. Bad times for all. So race 1 completed. Race 2 will see us run through the grid in the order they finished in race number 1. The penalty weight gets applied as well, so now all of a sudden Eric Strade from nothing goes to 45. He's had a wee bit of a takeaway. Then 36 goes to Chris Hack, 27 to Davis. It's exactly the same as what he had last time, so he'll be like, mwah. Redshaw gets 18, and Matt Richards gets 9. Send in your tweets and comments. What's everyone been up to during the off time? Send us in your tweet. Let us know. I'll read them out on air. Promise. Scouts honours. Although not scouts in the way that Cliff Richard would say. I swear, every star has just been ruined. Can't have a childhood anymore. Woohoo. So, in one of my little pet projects, just whilst we're filling the airtime, I'm going to be doing a feature-length documentary type thing. Well, documentary in the versions of YouTube documentaries on racing games and the history of them, where they started, and following it through from the old days of pole position and Super Sprint. Does anyone remember playing Super Sprint in an arcade with the spinny wheels and the 3-player mode? Oh, am I showing my age a little bit? Grandpa Simon! And going all the way through. To the love that we know today that is R Factor, iRacing, and yeah, I think it'll be quite good fun. Find out. Ah, thank you, Mr. Gilmore. I didn't know you was on Twitter. Let's follow you. I'm almost as orgasmic as Parker on the airwaves. To be fair, I don't think anyone could have quite the orgasm that Parker would. If Parker was on the waves, you'd all have wet ears by now. So when I get ready for this full-length documentary on racing games and their origins and where they've come and gone to now, I'll be asking the sim racing community what was the game that got you into sim racing, or racing games in general. What's your early memories? You know when you have those like really pointless countdowns that are on the Channel 4 in the UK, where you just get random nobodies who are like, "Oh, love that game, love that, it was so good. Do you remember that bit? So, yeah, I'm looking for little quotes and comments like that. You know what I mean? I'll stick something on the forums. Apart from that, what? Max Verstappen will race for Toro Rosso in 2015. You're having a laugh? He's not even legal. Is he legal? 17. Surely that's not allowed. What's the point of even getting in a car anymore? I might as well just come out the womb. I'd be like, hey, brought my own placentas. Hello? I don't get that. 17 years old. Surely they should put a limit in that you at least have to be 20. Because remember Alguersuari was like 19 when he made his debut, and he was the youngest, wasn't he? And that was suspicious enough. And Alguersuari's first year was a little bit like wobbly when he'd done the end of the first season. I don't know. Maybe I'll just send my own little sack of sperm in. It'll be ambidextrous. Yes, your thoughts and opinions on real racing and whether or not people aged 17 should really be in F1? Or do you think that age limits should be put on? Please send in your tweets, hashtag GPVWC, and whatever your favourite games.
All non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
And we'll read those out in the breaks between races 2 and 3, because we're about to get going. Still dry then at the Autodrome Most. The only thing that would have changed really is the track temperature, because we move through the day throughout these 3 races, just like real lives. So it was 10 AM, we're now at 1 PM, just finished off my nibbles. So in theory everyone should be an extra kilogram heavier. Yum yum. Potted meat sandwich. So, quickly run through the grid as they go round. You've got Strane and Hack at the front row ahead of Davis and Redshaw, with Matt Richards and Hackerson rounding out row 3. Row 4 is the Auroras of De Vries and Tulberg, with row 5 completed by De Vos and Rowland. Row 6 is Kirk and Olsen ahead of Canapino and Williams on row 7. Row 8 for Jimmy Hughes and Gary Lennon. Row 9 for Cameron Brewster and Tom Jacobs. Longs. 30th will be 30th? I don't know where Martin Palm is. He's not 30th on the grid. Row 10 will be Martin Palm and Jonas Ravio. Row 11 will be Mike Bell and Ilja Bracalo ahead of row 12, Reino Muru and Philip Morby. Row 13 will be Jordan Weeks and Matthew Allington, who need to swap their positions around on this formation lap. Then row 14 will be Mikhail Tumala ahead of Jonathan Asselklin. Then, what was that? Someone's vibrating my phone in my nipple. There you go. Row 11. No, row 15. I don't know where I am. Who am I? Who am I? That's a good Jackie Chan film. Row 15, David Junt and Florian Engel. Then row 16, Luke Herring and Thomas Hinds. Row 17 is Chris Williamson and Joshua Anderson, with row 18, Quintin Plain and Ruud Heasterbeek, with all in his lonesome on row 19, everyone's favourite Scottish Norwegian. That breed of person that you can only find at Bastvik GP. It is Scott Sovic. And you can't even make an IKEA joke out of it. Which I do find quite distressing. So as the field plops through, thank you for the tweet, Ryan Gilmore. F1 1997 for Vanilla PlayStation. Aww. Yes, I loved that game. Ukio Katayama. Then Sega Rally for the Sega Saturn. I never had a Sega Saturn, but I did play Sega Rally in an arcade. It was very nice. And Mario Kart on your first SNES. Aww. So retro, it makes me heart you. I remember F1 97 because that was when they decided that on random races the Bridgestone shod cars would do really well, and I was all excited that Minardi's could qualify in the top 10. That's all I needed really. I wish there was a mod where you could have put in the Lolas. That would have been great. Kenzo Sosbury. Anyway, here comes the grid. Lining up. Morby got it all a bit wrong there, but I think everyone's in place now. Last couple of cars having to line up round the final corner. However, they can all see the lights, and those lights are coming on. 5 red lights, and when they go out, we will be racing for round 2 here at the Autodrome Moss circuit. And Hack not away quite so well. Strane clouting it off the line. Redshaw going really for it, and it's going to cut past Davis before they get to the braking phase. Richards too, looking quite feisty down the outside. Where will Davis go? He's being boxed in, and there's a little bit of argy-bargy, but they've made it round okay so far. Further back, there's a couple of people running out slightly wide, but they're all kind of concertinaing up in the second part. There is an Enterprise that's gone off, and a Cosmo's gone off as well, sadly, which is Thomas Hinds, who's dropped down to the very back of the field, and Asaklinth was the other one that was off. But up front, it is Strane leading well clear this time from Hack. Redshaw up to 3rd, then Davis down to 4. Matt Richards stays in 5. As Davis runs out, and that could allow Richards through. Is he going to get cut off? Yes, he is. Going to take a little bit of evasive action as they fly through that hairpin bend. The Auroras of De Vries and Tallberg at it already for 6th and 7th place. There's no love lost between those two teammates. As long as they keep it on the black stuff, that's the main thing. Davis takes up a little bit of curb there. Canapino's having a go at Roland round the outside for 11th place. That was a mighty move. So mighty, it's made me choke. Oh dear. Augustine, what you do to my gullet. Then James Kirkland keeps 10th place from him as Olsen and Roland goes down to 13th, so that really lost him out a few positions. He's on the grass again. Everyone else still filtering through, some real people struck towards the back. Heasterbeek is up to 27th, so there's progress for him. At the end of lap 1 as they come around the final corner though, it's Strane leading from Chris Hack. Redshaw is in 3rd and is already starting to half buffer up Davis and Richards and Co behind. These guys now the ones with the heavy weight, and we'll see how that affects Strane and Hack particularly, because those two are the heaviest and they had no penalty weight last time by. Sven De Vries tries to go down the outside of Matt Richards. Matt sees it coming, closes the door and says, I don't think so. No, Jehovah's through that way, thank you very much. As Canapino takes 10th from Kirk down to turn 1. That was a good move from him too. Plenty of smoke towards the rear end there. I wonder if there was issues. I think Anderson and Weeks had a little bit of a coming together. And oh, there's someone off actually. It's Ilja Bracalo again. Ilja, who's had no luck this year at all, now down to 34th place. And that triple 20 driver will not be scoring points from there if he continues. Strane though leads the way from Hack. This is after they had no penalty weight between either of them last time round. Now in theory Chris Hack has an ever so slight advantage of 9 kilos between the two. We'll see if that actually bears any dividends later on. Redshaw though stays in 3rd place, keeping Toby behind him as Matt Richards keeps De Vries, Tallberg, Hackerson and De Vos the top 9 there. Canapino in 10 closing them down. Olsen's got round Kirk for 11th and 12th. Matthew Williams and Jimmy Hughes stay in 13th and 14th, 15th, sorry. Ravio's up to 16th. He was a good little mover on the shakers as Chris Hack has a little peek at Strane as he goes defensive. And that's Davis down the inside for Redshaw in the second last corner. That was a mighty dive, but it paid off. Redshaw saw it coming, got out of the way nicely, and Davis, that was a good clean move. And he yoinks that 3rd position. And I wonder if he thinks this time, now that the guys ahead are a little bit fatter on fuel, they're on full fat milk, what can they do to close up? But I don't think Redshaw's done, and look at that. Oh, Davis, that was bizarre, broke way too early. Not sure what happened there. I wonder if he's got an issue. It's I think that was nearly contact behind. That was Olsen and Kirk 11th and 12th, but they've come out of it in the right positions just about. Anyway, as Hackerson keeps 8th place as well. That's all looking a bit fraught. Behind, Mike Bell takes Tom Jacobs for 20th and 21st place. Engels ahead of Muro for 27th and 28th places. Chris Williamson takes Quinton Plain for 34th. So changes going on as Matt Richards runs wide, and that's Sven De Vries taking 5th out of the hairpin. And that is beautifully done. And is the other Aurora going to go through as well? Yes, he is. Jesper Tallberg follows through. And well, one teammate goes through, the other one says, I'll have that too, thank you very much. All very much past the parcel, and Richards down to 7th place. Now with penalty weight, it's only 9 kilos, but it does make a difference. They go through the fast kick, and that looked like Canapino trying to go around the outside of Bart DeVos for 9th position. Does he make it? No, he does not. Oh, but Bart, that's not quite the racing line. Come back on. Augustin Canapino yoinks 9th position. Bart DeVos is going to lose out to Olsen and Kirk and Rowland as well. And is Matthew Williams going to get through too? Yes, he does. And Bart DeVos rejoins in 14th. This is not Triple 20's day. Jimmy Hughes too far back because he's battling with Rivio. But that did not end well for him. Across the line then to start lap 4 for Eric Strane. He's half a second clear of Chris Hack, who's got 1.5 seconds advantage over Lewis Redshaw, who's still in 3rd. Davis then in 4th place after that bizarre early braking for turn 1, as he has a look at Redshaw, but he just gets flicked off on the entry to the part 2 of that chicane. De Vries and Tallberg stay clear of Richards, then it's Hackerson, who's all over the back of Matt, actually, to be fair. Canapino 9, well clear of Olsen, Kirk, Rowland and Williams in their little squabble, with Bart DeVos about to join onto that. Rovio in 15th place though. Is he going to have a go to get past Hughes? That looks like a yes, rounding outside. Brave move, because that door closes quite quickly as Jordan Weeks becomes our first disconnection of the race and retirement of the evening, actually. So Rovio out to 15th ahead of Hughes. Brewster, Palm, Lennon, Bell, Jacobs, Morby, Heasterbeek and Sumala all there battling away down to 24th place. 24 drivers quite fancying those points. Heasterbeek slowly picking them off one by one. He's got the time to maybe get himself up into a 15th or a 16th and look at a reverse griddy roo, and that would do him no end of good, because Canapino's still in 9th and he'll still be making inroads into Heasterbeek's championship lead, but it's not going to be helping at all as Heasterbeek dives past Philip Morby, takes 22nd place. Morby trying to defend on the inside, no touching just about, just the lightest of caresses. Heasterbeek takes 22nd. Next up is that awful gaggle of cars up ahead as Eric Hack. Oh god, now I'm mating them. Eric Strane there, a little bit close for comfort there with Chris Hack as they cross over the line. 4 tenths between them, but we know that Chris was a little bit struggling for moves on the first race. He's going to have to be a bit more decisive this time by. Davey Davis being very decisive for 3rd though, down the inside. Has he gone too deep? Yes, that's deeper than a deep dish. Redshaw goes back up into 3rd position, and I'm afraid that's a stuffed crust from poor old Davis. He's back into 4th place, and he's going to be good enough to keep clear of the De Vries and Tallberg Aurora Motorsport battle. Here he is, just about as Hack continues to pressure Strane, but does more lockups himself. Canapino onto the back of Ben Hackerson. Hackerson doing a fine evening of racing so far, the best I've seen him do in his sim racing career here at GPVWC, up in 8th place, and he'll be looking to solidify that. Kirk goes around the outside of Olsen for 10th place. Can Olsen get him back on the exit of that hairpin? Yes, he can. Oh, a little bit of argy-bargy of Nick Rowland, and I think Nicky won't be enjoying that. He has a little look into that fast corner. He's tried that move before in race 1. Oh, and both of them off. Oh, is Rowland going to go for it? Oh, smashes Matthew Williams. That is a huge accident. Rovio's involved too, and oh, carnage there that could actually have kept them all out of the barriers somehow. Rowland rejoins in 22nd place. Where does Rovio rejoin? 28th. Mura just slides through, and oh dear, Scott Sovic's retired in the background too. Separate incident, but what a shame as that end of the points battle kind of fizzles into an explosive firework delight. All of the carnage, all of the pixels, all of the filth as Chris Hack has a look again for the lead. He takes a little porky pie out. Is he going to have a stab down into turn 1? This is decisive. This is the first time he's gone for it down at 1. And Strane says nope. Hack there goes for a tight line into 1 for a great exit in 2. Can he get the momentum out of the chicane? Strane's left him enough room as they go toe to toe down into the straight. Hack pokes his pursuing out ahead. He's got a snout ahead. Can he do it down into the chicane? No, he backs out of it. He had that line, but Strane keeps it up front by sheer determination in that THR. Chris Hack, they're showing that there is a little bit of a confidence issue perhaps as Joshua Anderson retires from the race too with an engine failure. Bart DeVos pulls off with suspension damage too. So we're starting to lose them a little bit like flies early on here in the first half of this race 2 at Most. But That was a definite signal of intent from Chris Hack. He's about to signal another one because he's had a great exit compared to Strane off of that fast bend, or into that fast bend, sorry. Through they go, lots of sliding action. No, that didn't work out for Hack and his delight, as there was a change of position going on. Kirk takes 10th from Olsen again as they continue their danceroo, as Canapino goes around the outside of Matt Richards, takes 7th place. This is vital for his championship efforts, as here comes Hack down the outside for Strane again. We saw Davis do that to great effect on the inside. Hack's trying it though for the long game to get the inside. This didn't work last time by, but can he get a great enough exit to get on a slipstream down the straight? See what he can do as they cross the line to complete lap 6 and start lap 7 of the 11. But again, in the second half of that, Strane's got more straight line speed and Hack just can't quite get it on it. But Davis behind's going for another lunge on Redshaw. Redshaw saw that coming. Davis hotter than a trot down into turn 1 again, and Redshaw just let him go through. Says, I'll have you back on the exit, mates. And that's a great ding-dong between those two. And that will ding my dong as De Vries then still ahead of Tulberg. Canapino 7, Richards 8, Hackerson 9, Kirk 10, Olsen 11, Williams 12, Palm in the points 13th, Brewster 14th in the points, Gary Lennon in the second, Mazurek into 15th. Ahead of Hughes, Heasterbeek just outside the points in 17th. This is just what he needs. Then Bell, Jacobs, Tumala and Roland down in 21st before you start dropping off. Oh, and someone's rolled. That was Tom Jacobs rolling in 20th place there, I think, in the Six Factors racing. He may have collected it, but that was wheels off the track and sideways, and that's allowed Roland through. As here comes Hack then on the lead for Strane. Side by side they go. This is the most intense so far. Hack goes through on the real slidey bits through this elongated chicane, holds the line, covers it beautifully from Eric Strane. Over the curves they go, didn't need to, runs out slightly wide, 2 wheels on the grass, that may lose Hack slight momentum as Strane practically pushes the Missouri car round as they come down the straight. Just a couple of corners left to go on this one. Second to last corner, Hack keeps the inside line. Strane's thinking long game, he'll go for the run down to turn 1 behind Lewis Redshaw's, keeping a whole bottleneck of cars behind him for third. And if they can get through, they could start to spoil this battle for the lead. Strane then, we know he's got slightly better straight line speed. If he can get the exit off of that final corner, Hack keeps it. Strane pulls out. Is he going to go for a Lungelina down into turn 1? Yes, he is. Hack sees it coming, drops back. And ooh, that was a little bit meek. If it's anything to say there from Hack, maybe he knows that he can't quite do it, as Davis had to defend from De Vries and Tulberg behind for 4, 5 and 6, and suddenly Toby Davis is no longer battling Redshaw for third and having a go. He's got real issues as Canapino's going for Tulberg behind for 6th and 7th. Is he through? No, he's... Oh, yes, he is. He's up into 6th place there. Splitting the Auroras. He's done one. Can he do Sven De Vries as well? Crikey. You can see the top 7 almost in one screenshot as they go flying through. Canapino has another look at De Vries on the exit of the hairpin. No go there, unfortunately, as Matthew Williams goes around Palm for 12th and 13th places. And Matt Richards having to heavily defend from Hackerson in 8th and 9th places. Up front though, Strane still leads from Hack. I wonder if Chris is thinking, do you know what? Maybe I gave that one up a smidgy bit too early, or if he's just thinking of the long game. These are great points for Missouri, well, no matter how you look at it. And Chris is definitely throwing his hat in the ring for a real improvement of the year award there for this one. They keep themselves going. Remember, these two are the fattest cars out on track as De Vries defends from Canapino. There's contact between the two. That's wrong-footed De Vries, and Canapino unable to take advantage because he's got Tulberg for company. Out across the line to complete laps 8 and start lap 9. Just 2 to go then. We are getting close to the final countdowns. Hack, I don't think close enough this time. Behind though, Canapino is running. De Vries out to the pit wall. De Vries has made his one move. Canapino goes for another. Can he do anything around the outside? Oh, that was a bit naughty. Bit naughty there. A little bit of nudging. And Canapino there, so good on the exit, he actually catches himself out and hits the back of Sven De Vries. So that was not a clean exit by any means from the pair of them. And that has really helped Toby Davis, because whilst those two scrap, that's allowed Davis right straight onto the back of Lewis Redshaw. 1.7 separates the first 4. Further back, Gary Lennon and Ruud Heasterbeek have moved into 13th and 14th ahead of Cameron Brewster. And then there's a big gap actually back to Tumala. So the 15-point scorers have kind of pulled themselves away, bearing any last-minute hitches and drama llamas. We've lost James Kirk. He's had a suspension failure, so that means crashed into the wall. So that's a shame for him. 32 still run in this race as Matthew Allenson gets overtaken for 22nd by Rivio. And here comes Hack once again onto the back. Redshaw's got the Davis for company, so it really is a 2x2 affair. Someone get me Noah. Then it's De Vries still ahead of Canapino and Tallberg. The Auroras. Here comes Toby Davis for a good go on Redshaw down the outside. Can he make that stick? Redshaw decides that leaning is a good way of defence. There's a little bit of love nudge between the pair of them, and Redshaw keeps it ahead. But I think Davis is going to have a really good exit out from that. I don't think Chris Hack is close enough to have a go at Strane as they cross the line. No, he's 1/4 of a second back. That slipstream will happen a bit too late for him. But Davis has been known for hot head dives down into turn 1 before. Is he going to do the same for Redshaw? This one's looking much more on the nose. And that's better. That's better, Davis. Through you go, up into 3rd place. Well done, well executed this time. It's taken a few stabs, but he's got there now. Now De Vries defends from Canapino. Tallberg is right there too. Hackerson is past Matt Richards for 8th and 9th positions. Oh, contact behind. That is Matthew Williams and Martin Palm for 11th and 12th. Contact on the exit. Lennon's there too. Heasterbeek in 14th in the points ahead of Brewster. With Tumala only vaguely around and about in 16th. Unlucky for some, as that is Bradshaw having half a look at Davis for 3rd and 4th. Nothing doing round these corners. You've got to be real committed to make sure that that one works. As Nick Rowland takes Mike Bell for 17th and 18th places. They're thinking reverse grid potentially. 32 still running, all on the lead lap. And is that a change of position? That is. That's Canapino through on De Vries for 5th position. Nicely done into the fast chicane. Augustin, this is what he needed, whilst Heasterbeek is right down the lower echelons of the points. And this will help him on his championship quest to try and close in on his teammate Ruud Heasterbeek in the lead. Although Sven De Vries not quite done yet, is he? As they come filtering round. Chris Hack right onto the back of Strane as De Vries retakes Canapino. I think Canapino's going long game and wants a good exit. He's got to watch out for Tallberg. So up front, here comes Hack having a look at Strane. This time pulling out and having a go. Jonas Ravio just retiring from the race as Hack comes down into turn 1. He's got the inside line. Strane's going to try and go around the outside, surely, and hold the inside line for the exit of the chicane. If Hack can get a good exit, that may help. But Strane runs him quite closely out to the outside line. Has he got the momentum? It's going to be real close side-by-side stuff. Davis well clear of Redshaw. De Vries keeps ahead of Canapino, so it's all about this battle for the lead. And Hack slots in behind again. This is the final lap then of race 2 here at Autodrome Most for International Touring Cars. It's Strane, Hack, Davis, Redshaw, Canapino, De Vries, Tallberg, Hackerson, Richards and Olsen, your top 10 as they weave their way through the Czech Republic. This beautiful race, and here they come filtering through some of the faster corners. Strane running a bit wide there, I thought, as Hack took over the curbs. One of those curbs that has been a bit of a talking point because it spits you out quite nicely if you get that one wrong. So no one's really got it massively wrong here today. Just been general spatial awareness in race 2 that's caused issues. There's Strane desperate for his own championship challenge to hold on to this win, but also for THR. They moved ahead of Vodball last time by, and it looks like they could extend that as they come faltering around the final corner. Davis has a go at Hack into the final turn. Chris, just don't worry about it. You can get him on, hold him off on the exit just about, but Eric Strane crosses the line and wins round 2. Beautifully held there by Eric. Well done for THR. Chris Hack, an amazing second. He'll be delighted with that. 2 seconds in a row. 3rd then for Toby Davis. 4th Lewis Redshaw. 5th Augustin Canapino. That's what he needed for Vodball. 6th Sven De Vries ahead of teammate Jesper Tallberg. 7th for Aurora. 8th Ben Hackerson held off Matt Richards in 9th, just 6 seconds off the pace. Olsen in 10th ahead of Matthew Williams, a great 11th. Gary Lennon 12th, then Martin Palm 13th. Ruud Heesterbeek 14th, that will please him. Brewster 15 in the points for play seat, ahead of Tumala 16. Nick Rowland 17th for CSG. 18th Mike Bell, 19th Tom Jacobs. Ilja Bracalo 20th, he'll be hoping for a 20th for reverse grid. Jimmy Hughes 21st, not quite points this time round, ahead of Muru. Philip Morby 23rd, sorry. Matthew Williams 24th, David Junt 25th for Basilia, no points again. Luke Herringham, a improved race there for 26th, ahead of Jonathan Asselin 27th. Chris Williamson just crossing the line now, just ahead of Florian Engel for 28th and 29th places. Quintin Plain is in 30th. He's got Thomas Hinge just a second behind him. So those two are battling for wooden spoon honours for 30th and 31st. And if Plain can get around these last two corners, he will have it. Your retirements. Jonas Rivo, James Kirk, Bart DeVos, all with suspension failures. Joshua Anderson blew an engine, not quite sure how he managed that, but it is Josh. Then 3 laps down, disconnections for Sovic and Jordan Weeks on the same lap. And indeed, Plain does hold 30th ahead of Thomas Hinds. So that was key for THR. That gives them a slight advantage in the championship hunt. It was also key for Augustin Canapino, who made proper inroads into Ruud Heesterbeek. But now with the reverse grid, this now means that Heesterbeek, regardless of what number will be chosen, will now have the advantage and be able to say, oh yes, oh yes. So if Max Verstappen ends up on the podium, he can't drink the champagne. Will they get him some Ribena? And where will Jean-Eric Verne go? I'm quite annoyed at this 17-year-old rubbishness. My life is over and I'm only 30. Ooh. This may take a wee while, just whilst we get some servery bits sorted out. Allows me to ad-lib and chat a wee bit. So looking through the actual calendar itself for what we've got left in this series. Good track still to come. We've got Monza in a more than 2 weeks' time. That can't be right. That looks like the calendar's wrong on the website. So in 2 weeks' time, we've got Monza. Then we're off to Laguna Seca. Laguna Seca. Get me in and around that corkscrew, peeps. That would be great. Then after that, where are we off to? We've got Autopolis. That would be great. Not driven that one for a while. And then ending up at Interlagos in Brazil on the 13th of October. I'd be massively surprised if the championship is not going down to the wire. So many points on stake for each of the rounds. especially the constructors. Ben Warren just tweeting that he's gutted for Jev. No, Smithy's driving for a rejuvenated HRT team. That would be amazing, actually. So we're just getting ready for the server, getting all sorted, running for a warm-up session again. As always, for race 3 we'll have the magic random number generator Finger of Fear that will reverse anywhere between 16 and 20 on the grid itself. And the number is... Ow, that's a bit harsh on my belly. Tom Jacobs, P19, so 19 reverse, that will put Rude Heasterbeek 3rd on the grid. So you've got to think, is he in with a shout if he's in clear air? I don't know what his pace is like, but if he's in clear air, what can Vodball do? And what can he do to make sure that both him and his team do not lose out dramatically to THR in this round? And the race, of course, will be set slightly later in the day. It'll be about 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So track temperature, track grip, slightly different. In theory, tyre wear may be slightly different as well. And don't forget, if ITC is not your thing, well, I believe there's a Masters event potentially coming up quite soon. A 12-hour event, don't you knows? And I believe I might be dragging you all kicking and screaming through that as well. So that is on the 30th or 31st. Let's have a look. 30th of August. So as long as that is all going ahead, I expect you to all take that time out of your diary. Come along. We all know what these long broadcasts are like. I like collaborative experiences. I want takeaway bingo. I want internet hugs. I want damn good racing. The last one was amazing. I tell you what, for a field that was only, 13 cars strong, I was well impressed. And all teams finished in an endurance race. Since when does that ever happen? It was amazing. So, book yourselves out. It's going to be a Sim Racers experience day. I'm off to the Reverb Festival this weekend at the Roundhouse in London. Hosted by Imogen Heap, if anyone knows her music. Probably best known for Hide and Seek. Amazing artist. Go and check out her music. Very nice too. I know one of her. In a bad relation, I'm friends with one of her sister's best friends. 6 degrees of separation. Simon can try it. So, just waiting for Augustine Canapino to rejoin in the server, which he has done. And fingers crossed, we are going to have a championship battle. I'm so excited, I've removed my top. Much to everyone else's chagrin.
Attention grid, all non-essential personnel leave the grid now.
So the grid get all livened up and onto the track. It will be 4 PM. It is dry as well. Mike Bell at the front of the field again. That can only lead to a Bell train, but it is Tom Jacobs that leads us round on pole position for the third and final round this evening at the Autodrome Most for GPVWC's International Touring Cars. Second will be Mike Bell for Araya Stream. Third, Nick Rowland for CSG. What can he do from there? Fourth, Mikhail Tumala from Enterprise GP. Fifth will be Cameron Brewster for Placey. And sixth, Ruud Easterbeek with Oddball, sorry. Seventh, Martin Palm for Torrent Motorsports, ahead of Gary Lennon. Eighth for Mazurek. Ninth, Matthew Williams for Sixth Axis Racing. 10th, Tobias Olsen, where he's been practically all evening. 11th, Matthew Richards for Araya Motorsports. 12th, Ben Hackerson, YTF1. 13th, Jesper Tallberg, ahead of teammates Sven de Vries for the two Auroras on row 7. Then Augustine Canapino is in 15th with Oddball. 16 is Lewis Redshaw, CSG. 17, Tobias Davis. I've made you follow. Then 18th is Chris Hack for Mazurek. 19th is Eric Strane. 20th, Ilja Bracalo for Triple 20. 21, Mad Cape Racing Team. 22nd, sorry, that's Jimmy Hughes, not just the entire Mad Cape Racing Team. 21st. Rainer Muro is 22nd for TTF. 23rd is Philip Morby. 24 will be Matthew Allington for Cosmo. 25, David Yunt for Scuderia Basilia. 26th, Luke Herring for Mad Cape Racing. 27 is Jonathan Atterclint. Then Nijo's Chris Williamson. 28. 29 for Florian Engel. 30th, Quintin Plain for TTF. 31st will be Thomas Hinds. 32nd will be James Kirk. With Bart de Vos in 34th. The other drivers who retired did not rejoin, and so are out of it. This may please you, but it squares me. Dave Cosgrove does his advert in a tiara and thong. There's an image that I will happily think of in the darken hours of night. I've also seen that recent picture that he's popped on Facebook, where he delightfully wears some fabulous pink glasses. which only Dave Carr-Smith can wear in that slight hipster that's been abused fashion. So, here come the lights then for the third and final time of asking this evening here at the Most circuit. The Czech Republic is about to get checked down into turn 1. Jacobs away beautifully. Bell 2. Roland, though, gets a great second phase. And look at them. They're all trying to push through each other. Tom Jacobs has absolutely done it naughtily down into the second phase of that. I don't know what happened with his gear shifts, but Roland then takes the lead. Bell's going to go for the inside. They're going to make it through just about. Tumala's in there too. Williams runs out wide slightly. They're just about all getting through. Indeed, they have done again for the third time this evening. Great stuff round at the start. Can't complain there, beautifully done. But it's Nick Rowland that leads for CSG from Mike Bell, then Brewster, Tumala, Heasterbeek up to 5, Jacobs from 1st to 6th. What on earth was that with his second phase of gear shifting? It was like he forgot to change gears. Then it's Palm, Lennon, Tulberg, Williams. Where's our leaders? Canapino down in 17th place. And yeah, that's the Vodball down there with Ruud Heasterbeek into 5th, so he's gained. As the other Vodball lost, didn't he? 2 places. So Roland then leads the way from Bell, Brewster, Tumala, Heasterbeek and Jacobs your top 6, and Mike Bell going straight for it. Roland gives him the room, but doesn't need to. Cuts across because he didn't have any of his nose through. Matthew Williams and Hackerson side by side for 11th, 12th, 13th, 14th with De Vries and Davis in there too. And Canapino's out. Canapino's out. He's crashed out. My goodness me, Augustin Canapino has thrown everything wide open. All of that hard work is over. And what did he do? He went off of his own accord by the looks of it, crashed out and retired. What a shame there for Canapino. As we come round to the end of lap 1. Roland leads the way. From Bell, Brewster's all over the back of him though in the play seat. Been fishing around the lower end of the points all evening, and now he quite fancies their run for second place. Bell's having half a look at the lead. Roland's got that one covered. Brewster's going in deep. Bell has to go deeper to defend, and well, there's only so much deepness you can get into that turn 1, and they've all come out okay. Heasterbeek then into 4th. He's past Tumala, and that's another one off his hit list, and this is really helpful that Canapino is out. All of these points are just gains then for Heasterbeek, and when you've got Holm and Davis, well, Holmes not here, Davis further down, is the place where he needs to shine. Redshaw then has just taken 15th place from Chris Hack. That will do him. Bracalo and Hughes there behind, having a good old squabblearoo as Roland continues to bottleneck up with Bell, and that's Heasterbeek having a go at Brewster for 3rd. Can he go around the outside? That would be brave if he does that. Indeed he does, and he's got the inside for the faster corner. There's bashing between the two. They're both going to go off onto the gravel surely. Heasterbeek's the one that gets the worst one, and Tumala's going to try and take the pair of them surely. Yes he does. The Enterprise GP driver moves into 3rd. He'll take Breros around the outside. And Bowser's going to get a little taste of his own bruising. Oh, there's contact behind there with the torrent of Martin Palm tapping Tom Jacobs ever so slightly. They managed to keep it all footed quite nicely so that they come out of the same corner on the road and in the right positions too. As Morby and Strane have a massive clash for 20th and 21st, and Morby comes better off of that one. Roland though at the end of lap 2 leads the way despite running out onto the grass on this penultimate corner. Gets it nicely tight in for the final one. Bell's onto the back of him though for 2nd. Tumala has 3rd ahead of Heasterbeek, Brewster and Jacobs. Something tells me that Ruud Heasterbeek wants to go for Tumala, but you'll have to watch out for Cameron Brewster too. You'll have to put out at the right moment, which he does so. And Tumala's not even going to I guess he is going to try and defend. At the last minute it'll go steaming down the inside. Oh yes, nicely done by Tumala to run Heasterbeek right the way out to the edge, but Heasterbeek's not fazed by that, and he's got great exit out from the corner. Bell's not quite close enough to Roland up ahead, but Heasterbeek takes 3rd from Tumala. Brewster's going to have half a look down into this chicane, but he's going to have to slot in behind. Jacobs holds off Palm, Lennon holds off Tulberg with Matt Richards, then De Vries, Williams 12, Hackerson 13, Davis 14, Redshaw 15, then Bracalo, Hack, Hughes, Allington, Morby, Olsen and Strane, your top 22 with Luke Herring then rounding off the rest. And it's just Canapino that's out. Oh, Asapin and Muru have taken each other off the track down in 29th and 30th. There's a bit of a catastrophe for those two, and there's flashings of lights, so clearly someone thinks of one of the others at blame. As we follow the leaders back through again, and Brewster having a look at Tumala for fourth. Can he go around the outside? Tumala looking a little bit wrong-footed. Oh, that was a bit naughty. Naughty, Bowser, Bruiser. But Tumala then loses out, not just to Brewster, but to Jacobs as well, who's going to filter his Sick Factors racing car through up into 5th position. Nicely done. Sneaky garage. And then Tumala goes down to 6th position. Palm is right there for Torrent too. He'll fancy a go through, but he's got to watch out because Gary Lennon's on the attack. And Tumala really wrong-footed there with trying to go down the outside of Jacobs. And is that 4 wide behind for 9th? That was at one point 4 wide for 9th, but De Vries gets that from Tallberg and Co. Up front though, it's Rowland leading the way quite clearly from Bell. Then it's Easterbeek, Brewster, Jacobs, Gary Lennon then under attack from Martin Palm, trying to get 6th place. Palm there wrong-footed in the penultimate corner, and he's going to take a dive through on the inside. Lennon pushes him right up over the curb, no mercy shown there. Tumala then 8, De Vries 9, Tallberg 10. It's all go behind. Matthew Williams keeps 11. Davis takes Hackerson, who went onto the gravel there, drops down to 13th. Then it's Matt Richards, Lewis Renshaw, Chris Hack, Ilge Bacalo, Hughes, who's going round Bacalo for 17th and 18th places for the Mad Cape versus Triple 20. Then it's Allington with Morby, Strane getting past Olsen for 21st and 22nd, and a gap back to Junt, who's now in 23rd. Still, we have 31 runners and riders left. Bart de Vos, our second retirement in the Triple 20 car. That's a shame for him after a great run in race 2. Davis then past Hackerson. Hackerson quite fancies going back through again. Davis again with 27 kilograms of weight for the 3rd time this evening. Strane with 45, really finding it ineffectual, and is mirrored down in 21st places as Toby Davis takes Matthew Williams for 11th and 12th places. But that does him nicely. Mike Bell clamps himself onto the rear end of Nick Rowland, and as lovely a rear end as that I'm sure is, will want to get through and take the lead. We'll be saying that actually that rear end is a little bit private property, don't ram it down into turn 1. Behind there is changes of position as Tumala gets taken by De Vries for 8th and 9th. But what does Bell do down the home straight? He's getting sucked up into the slipstream, he'll pull out. Bell is one of those people that will take a lunge down into 1, but he can't do it. Rowland gives him plenty of room. An awkward exit from 2 though, and he covers it off there by being just a little bit vacant in the apex, and Bell had nowhere to go, and there's contact. Palms round. That's a shame there for Martin Palm. 19th, 20th, 22nd place he'll be by the time he gets going again, and that's out of the points for the Torrent Motorsport driver, and not sure who contact that would be. He was battling around with Davis and Williams and Co, so it would be somewhere round there. But that's a shame there for Mr. Palm. May have been his own doing, in which case it will be a face palm. Rowland though leads the way, and look at Easterbeek onto the back of Mike Bell for the first time now. Bell having to really defend instead of attack, and immediately starts to fall off the back of Nick Rowland, and Easterbeek's just trying to think, right, which way will I pick him off? And it could well be down into here. Bell gives him so much room, I could shove an entire kebab up the side. But Easterbeek takes 2nd place away from Bell. Beautifully done, and Bell, I think, was gracious with that. He knows where to pick his battles. Bell has really matured over the last year or so. A fine reverse grid, particularly driver in ITC. Not many of those flashes of drama and flair that have often seen him plough into other drivers, although Hackerson has just smacked the back of Matthew Williams for 11th and 12th. They still keep going. Renshaw in 13th, right behind them. He's disposed of Matt Richards. They were the other way round at one point. But Rowland leads the way, lap 6 of 11 from Easterbeek, Bell, Brewster, who's got Jacobs right for company. Then Gary Lennon's in 6th ahead of De Vries, Tumala, Tallberg. Then Toby Davis has been spat. Oh, Hackerson, what was that? Those YTF ones have been. Oh, no, don't push them back onto the racing line. What? WTF, YTF drivers? They've been doing that all evening, tapping the back of people into 1, and it's surprising that it's taken that long for someone to be spun around. Innocent there for Toby. And Well, Hackerson did stay behind, but it's causing all kinds of problems as Bracalo, desperate for some points from this evening, there gets through, and he'll go round Hackerson, and Hackerson's off again. Second time in a row, down to 17th. Through goes Bracalo, Hack and Hughes. Allington desperate to get Cosmo into some points. Oh, they would love a second point scoring finish. Poor Cosmo. They've had real dramas with Tom Vandervoort, who was unable to score the points when it mattered. He had bad luck. Allington's barely had any luck at all. And they would love that, as here comes Heasterbeek onto the back then of Nick Rowland. Disposed of Mikey Bell. Now quite like Nicky Rowland. Rudy Heasterbeek. Everyone can be made into a child animal. Not into the penultimate corner, where we've seen quite a few moves done. Looks like he's sizing himself up for a turn 1 T-bone. Not that it'll be a T-bone. Gary Lennon basically forces Brewster off the track further down the field. Here comes Heasterbeek then down the outside. Looks like he's going to try and go the up and under. Rowland gives him the room. What will he do down into 1? Will he try and force him right close to the line? Indeed he does. Beautifully done there. Then Rowland holds it and just hovers on the apex and says, you know what, you'll go when I say I'm ready. Beautiful defending there from Nick Rowland. Really knew where to place his car in the right places. Heasterbeek then stays behind for second. Bell and Jacobs then behind. Brewster keeps ahead of Lennon, despite Lennon basically riding all the way around the curve on the final corner and then running Brewster out onto the outside. Must have gave him enough room to keep that one together. Then it's De Vries, Tumala and Tallberg, all in a battle there. 5 to 9. 9 to 5 in reverse, essentially, as here comes Heasterbeek again, then on Rude. On Rude? No, he's on Nick Rowland, rather. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to steam it in there because Rowland's got that one covered. Nicely done, as Matt Richards moves into 11th past Redshaw and Williams. Saw that one coming, and then Davis has just taken Richards for 10th and 11th, so it's all kicking off towards the lower end of the top 10 and the points paying positions, but Heasterbeek continues to stalk Rowland up front. It's looking nice. Bracalo takes Hack for 14th as Heasterbeek continues. Where will he go this time by? Got the laps to do it in, and he's not got pressure from behind from Mike Bell. Again into the penultimate corner. Will he try something different this time? The outside tactic did not work. And once Rowland's seen it once, he'll see it again as Bracalo takes Redshaw for 13th and 14th, and De Vries takes Brewster for 6th and 7th. And look at Rowland right up to the pit wall. You ain't coming through down there. I want you down the outside because I know I can hold the inside line for the apex for 2. He's just, oh, has he got it a little bit too deep there? There was a lock of brakes and that's thrown him slightly wide out the apex. Has Heasterbeek manoeuvred Rowland into an awkward position to make sure that he can get the dive through on and play the long game? Indeed he does. Forces the Vodball driver through. Rowland now has to see what he can do to hold on round the outside to get the inside for the next turn, and it's not going to happen. That turn's too tight. And Heasterbeek takes the lead. Great defending work from Rowland, but he had to concede there for CSG. Third then is Mike Bell as Rowland goes straight for the attack in the hairpin and was like, blop. Jacobs in 4, Lennon all over the back in 5, then De Vries, he's got round Brewster for 6th and 7. Tumala is 8, Tallberg 9, Davis now into 10 ahead of Matt Richards. Bracalo's got round Williams for 12th and 13, Redshaw down to 14, Hack 15 with Hughes, Hackerson and Allington all battling over points. Strane's got round Morby for 19th and 20th as they continue their fight as 31 drivers still remain in this GP on lap 8 of 11 now. So we're into the final trio of laps. Who can do what in the remaining time is what we will be looking forward to seeing. And it looks as though Heasterbeek has got it covered. He's got no penalty weight, neither has Rowland. But that VOD ball has not been able to show its form in the first 2 rounds in the hands of Rude. And Canapino struggled to show it too. There's Gary Lennon on the attack for Tom Jacobs, and that's Lennon off into the barriers. Oh my goodness me. He went for the overtake and then kind of steered off one way or another. I think he reacted too dramatically to something. Is he into the pitch? Yes, he's got a puncture. That's a shame there for Gary Lennon and Mazurek, because that was shaping up for a fine finish. As behind the battle for 7th and 8th for Tumala and Tallberg. Battle Royal. They've got Brewster just ahead. I think Tumala's going to get it. He'll get 7th place quite nicely. Just up ahead. Sven De Vries had a go at Tom Jacobs, but Jacobs closed the door quite nicely. These are the battles that will continue to rage on.
Bracalo then to 11th. Redshaw gets 12th and passes Matthew Williams on the exit from the chicane. Hack then to 14. Hackerson in 15th. All of the hacks. Then it's Hughes ahead of Allington. And Strane's too far back, I think, to be able to do much to catch them unless there is drama with 2 to go. Williams nearly ploughs into the back of Redshaw. It's very difficult to make sure you stop in time. Battle for the wooden spoon. Quintin Plain versus Hinds for 29th. And Plain's going to go round the outside of Thomas Hinds. Beautifully done there. Hinds, oh no! Lag for Hinds. But they keep clear, and actually Hinds is going to get back. Some of those battles right the way down for wooden spoon positions, just as fierce as the ones up the front, and it's good to shine a light on them when we can. Up front though, with 2 to go, including after the one that we're on, Ruud Heasterbeek leads the way by 1.3 seconds from Roland. Bell in 3rd. Tom Jacobs still holding off Sven de Vries in 4th and 5th, and Tom Jacobs would love to walk away with a top 5 result if he can. And Sven de Vries there having a peak one way or another. This is where Lennon went off. He doesn't do the same, but he's not able to steam it down the inside as to what we saw Davis do earlier on in the evening of entertainment. He stayed for I'll get a good run off the final turn and see what I can do. Top 3 are fine, and actually Jacobs gets a great run out of that final turn. He set that one up nicely, which means that de Vries then has to go for a proper lunge down into turn 1. He still has a lunge, but it's not quite the lunge that he needed, as Tallberg and Tumala behind for 7th and 8th. Again side by side, Tumala up over the curbs. That's going to allow Tallberg a better exit. And round the outside from the exit of the chicane. That's an unusual way to do it, but it's worked for Jesper. Up to 7th for Aurora. Great to see the 2 Aurora guys really working so close to each other, evenly matched. Davis then up to 9. Richards 10, Bracalo 11, Redshaw 12. Williams gets round Hack for 13th and 14th, Hackerson 15 and Hughes in 16th. That's going to potentially end in tears with 2 to go, including the one that we're on. Then it's Allington, Strane, Morby, Palm, your top 20 ahead of Kirk, Olsen, Junt, Leering, Muru, Engel, Williamson, Asserclinth, Plain and Hinds, with Gary Lennon the last running driver in 31st position after his pit stop. And the leading trio really spreading themselves out, a bit like Philadelphia. Behind though, Jacobs really having to defend from de Vries. Brewster's now there too. And behind, that looked like Davis got round Tumala. Indeed he has for 8th position. Tumala trying to get back. Davis has it covered any which way but loose, as Jacobs defends 4th place now from de Vries once again, coming up into the danger zone. And Jacobs a little bit of a lock-up, and that may let de Vries have a go down into the final turn. Indeed he does, he steams it through. That's what Gary Lennon tried on Jacobs earlier on, and it didn't work. This time it did for Sven de Vries. Out onto the final straight he goes. He's just got to make sure that he can defend, much like what Brewster is having to do behind with Tallberg. So one Aurora attacks, one defends. De Vries looks like he's got that one covered. What can Jesper Tallberg do? Oh, there's contact with Brewster, but Brewster's got it covered, and Davis smacks Tumala behind. Again, he goes in very deep into turn 1, and there's more contact on the exit. Tell you what, Rubbin's racing, but if there's any more rubbing on that front, I'd have ejaculated all over his front car. As behind, Richards is about to get involved for 10th place too. On to the final lap, Bracalo 11, then Redshaw, Williams, Hackerson ahead of Chris Hack now, with Hughes desperate for that final point, stalking him all the way home. Ruud Heasterbeek serenely out front, having a good go as de Vries gets round Jacobs. 4th position into the hairpin. Lovely stuff there from Sven de Vries. Wants that Aurora into 4th and has got it. Jacobs I think will be delighted with that 5th if he can hold it, and with Brewster having to defend from Tallberg, that could well be the stopgap that he needs. Hackerson's gone up into 13th place past Matthew Williams, so it's all play for the final points paying positions as well, as Heasterbeek, Roland and Bell round the last few corners to play. Tallberg and Brewster side by side for 6th and 7th. Brewster holds it just about, and that will give the breathing space that Jacobs needs to get home. Into the final couple of corners then, and it's Ruud Heasterbeek. This is what he needed to do to ensure that he keeps ahead of Augustin Canapino, who did not score and crashed out on the opening lap. Augustin fell off. Ruud Heasterbeek got it all together and scooped up a great victory here at the Autodrom Most circuit for Vodball Racing. Second, Nick Rowland for CSG. That's a shot in the arm for him, much needed. Mike Bell third for Arroyo Stream. He'll be delighted with that. Sven de Vries, a great fourth. Tom Jacobs will be delighted with fifth, despite starting from pole and dropping to sixth on the opening corner. Sixth, Cameron Brewster, great for place seat. Seventh, Jesper Tallberg, ahead of Toby Davis 8, Mikhail Tumala 9 for Enterprise, Matt Richards 10 for Araya Stream, Bracalo 11, finally getting the monkey off his back for triple 20, Redshaw 12 for CSG ahead of Matthew Williams 13, Ben Hackerson 14 for YTF1, falling behind Williams on the last corner, 15th and only a tenth behind as well. 15 Crass Hack gets the final point from Zurich, ensuring he scores on all 3 rounds. He'll be delighted, I'm sure. Jimmy Hughes 16 for Mad Cape, 17 Eric Strain. Not able to get any points for THR after 2 fantastic wins. 18th Matthew Allington, just outside the points by a mere 5/10 of a second. That's worthwhile saying. 14th to 18th, covered by 6/10 of a second. That's crazy stuff. James Kirk 19, Morby 20th, ahead of Palm 21st, Olsen 22nd, Junt 23rd, Luke Herring 24th, 3 good finishes for Mad Cape on his hands. Reinu Muru on his return to ITC, 3 finishes in 25th for TTF. He'll be looking for more in future events. Engel 26th, Williamson 27th, his first off finish of the race. Jonathan Assekamp 28th, ahead of 1 minute off the pace. Quinton Plain 29, who did get past Thomas Hinz for 30th in the end, and he only got home just a 10th ahead of Gary Lennon in the battle for Wooden Spoon honours. The 2 retirements there, Bart DeVos and Augustine Canapino, with a DNF and a crash, respectively. And that was your 33 starters for the 3rd round this evening. And what a fine evening of entertainment that was indeed. So as we catch our breath, I'm going to have some interviewees pop into the booth and violate the microphone in the way that they only know how. And I think we best start off with a man who is not too shy of being on the podium in other formulae. But it's nice to see you on the podium in a Tim Top. Welcome, Nick. How was that for you?
That was good fun. To be drafted in quite late and actually only start learning the car late last night and into today, I'm actually really pleased to get a podium. I thought it was actually going to be a little bit more difficult in race 3 because the back temperatures went up about 10 or 11 degrees compared to the first 2 races, and that really caught me out on tyre pressures and stuff with understeer. But yeah, it was a good race with Rude, and the other 2 races were good fun as well.
Talk us about that start on the 3rd race in particular, because you're starting in and around the top, and then all of a sudden you was like, oh, it was like you went into a Super Cape, Super Roland 2nd stage of your start, and was like, oh, have all the guys, and we're suddenly in the lead. It was great.
Oh yeah, I got the initial launch and it was really, really good. And I slipped the clutch just enough, and I saw a little bit of smoke come up my rear tyres. I thought, oh no, I've done it too much, but it wasn't too bad in the end. I went onto had to go onto the grass because we were going to go 3 wide, and just held it around on the outside of turn 1. So yeah, I was really pleased with that.
And moving forward, obviously we don't often see you in ITC. You plan to stick around for some of the later races?
It's unlikely. I'll be honest. This may just be a one-off thing for me, unfortunately. But we'll see later on down the line. But tonight was good fun. I enjoyed it.
Good stuff. Well, it's always nice to let off steam, because obviously you're busy in the high intense world that is Super League. And actually, it might be worthwhile just saying, obviously there's going to be some really obvious differences between the 2 leagues. But what are the kind of the differences and the similarities for you between driving in an open wheel at such pace and then having to battle the close quarter racing that you get in ITC?
There's no similarity at all, to be honest with you. The racing is completely different. And these guys just throw the car at the corner and kind of hope for the best, not really worrying if there's a guy on the outside of them. So I had to almost go into a bit of an old school mode and trying to be a bit more aggressive. Because I think I was being a little bit too kind at the start of race 1 in particular. So I had to get my elbows out a little bit. But no, you can't draw any comparison really at all between the two series whatsoever.
Fabulous. Lovely. Well, thank you very much, and go and enjoy your champers.
I will do. Thank you very much.
Well, it's looking like we're a bit interview poor elsewhere. I don't know where the rest have all gone for. I think they've already gone off down the pub to celebrate which is great fun. You guys will all take care of yourselves. Thank you so much for watching. The next ITC race will be in 2 weeks' time, and that will be Toby was in, Toby was out. Toby then shook it all about. But oh no, he's back. He's back. That's all a bit like a late dive down into turn one. Toby, come. Are you staying?
Yeah, sorry, I had to correct something quickly.
That's okay. That's okay. Was it your braking down into turn one? Because you was highly entertaining down there. There were some great moves, and you had different lines all the time. It was great.
For whatever reason, when I turned up on race day, as in it changed servers to the fresh one, my AIW line disappeared, and that was my breaking point for T1. So I had to work it out as I went along in qualifying and so on. But yeah, I had no idea what I was doing, to be honest, in T1. So yeah, apologies for that. A couple of little bizarre incidents.
But you seem to attract that third step on the podium quite often. You must be getting quite used to running 27 kilograms of penalty weight.
Yeah, well, to be honest, race 2 I was hoping to win. I let the other 2 guys win race 1. There's a bit not quite true. I didn't fight them, if you see what I mean. It wasn't up to me that they won. They did a better job than me. But race 2, I was hoping to win with a less weight than those 2 guys. But Lewis managed to get past me on the start this time round, which was frustrating. And he did a good job in both race 1 and race 2 actually. So kudos to him. It was fun racing against him. So two third places is better than I expected here, to be honest. Car's not that well suited to the track, and turns out that I'd done quite a fair bit of practice, to be honest, and I think maybe more than most people are doing. So that's the only reason I was competitive. I think the car's not that great around here. So
well, just on the back of that, actually, you were scoring points quite solidly throughout all 3 of those races, which is great for you, because when you look at it, Vod Bull had a wee bit of a shocker for the first time really this season. So that brings you into contention just for THR between yourself and Eric for the constructors, but also brings you into play a lot more for the actual drivers' championship. So obviously still got plenty of rounds to go. We've got Monza coming up next. Does that change your approach when you're going into Monza now that they've had a bit of a shocker?
Not really. I always do the same amount of practice and take each round as it comes, to be honest. There's no point focusing on the championship strategy when there's when you've got 3 rounds, and it could be anyone's guess where you finish in each round, to be honest. But yeah, Monza's going to be okay for us, actually. The car's not amazing in a straight line, but it's pretty good. Laguna's going to be the one. That's I'm looking forward to that one. The track should suit our car quite well. So and big thank you to Eric as well for stepping in at the last minute. Adrian has been having a big think over the break and has decided not to come back. So which is a shame for me and the team. But we completely understand and back his decision, and it's he's. I mean, he may come back in the future, but he's a little bit grumpy. So.
Well, we will miss you, Adrian, and we look forward to seeing you on the grid whenever you're ready to do so. So, big hugs for the whole me. Well, thank you very much, Toby, and to Nick for joining us in the commentary booth. It's always great to get the driver's eye view for when they are in and about and battling for podiums, victories, or even for the reverse grid pole. We will see you for ITC again in 2 weeks' time, where we'll be joining the aforementioned Monza circuit here on Monday, the 9th. I don't know when it is actually. When is it? Let's take a look at my old calendar-oo. It'll be the 1st of September. Oh, that'll be grand. Come and join us there for Chicaneroo action. Until then, we will also have Monza in the coming up week for Formula Challenged Super Cup and Super League next week as well. Your Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, high-octane pixelated action. Thank you as ever to Dave Carr-Smith for being the cameraman extraordinaire this evening and the race director, and wearing many hats or tiaras with stockings and panties. Thank you very much for Ryan Gilmore for sending in all of the tweets, and to Andreas Walters as well. My name's Simon Smith. You guys will take care. Have a chin chimaroo evening, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.